heart of a lion and a warrior soul. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. Tell them no retreat, no surrender, I shall fight till the end of days. I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan carrier, Father loose all shackles and chain. This morning first thing as I wake up, King David turn Sam to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people to commit it up, pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it up. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that's constitution. Don't let your faith them fall. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them.
Thank you, Father. I want to say thank you, Lord. You are everything, Father. Thank you.
Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart. Even some of my friends turn enemies, and they pray for right to feel. And remember you gave us your only begotten son, but we gave him the wound of life. Send down your warriors with the hello, they carry down to the end of days. No matter how the devil try trick me, unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this storm is coming, I can see the high tide raise. Without you there is no other. Could there be that really myself? No weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. I am a man, I am a champion, I am a warrior. So who are you to tell me that I cannot make? Who are you to tell me that I am not the greatest thing that God ever created?
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and P.D. Martini. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on 97.5 CitysoundFM, 89.5 CRFM, 92.9 Sister Radio Broadcasting out of Hillsborough, Carriacou, and of course 94.9 We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, New York. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on the live videos, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. A very special good morning to you. To those of you who regularly join us, Kathleen, good morning to you. Good morning, Helen. Good morning, Spiceman. Good morning, Master. Good morning to all of you. It's always a pleasure speaking with you each and every morning, trying to get the information out there, trying to keep you updated on what is going on, trying to provide you with the facts as they become available to me. All right. It is a beautiful morning, and I say beautiful not because it's sunny, but because we got a little bit of rain. I know that we have been, or we are going through a dry spell, if I can call it that. You know, the dry season is really upon us, and of course, we are grateful for whatever showers of blessings come our way. So we got a little rain last night. We got a little rain this morning. I know Noasa is probably smiling. It's probably not much. It's not the amount that we need to get us, you know, where we need to be water-wise. But of course, we're getting there, and we're praying for more rain. Of course, as the Nomasa would have mentioned earlier this week in their interview, we are expected to have an extended dry season that is expected to go all the way up to August. That's expected to go all the way up to August. So please try your best to facilitate as much storage of water as you can. Good morning, Linda. As you can. I wonder if it was Mikey, correct me if it's not you, would have advertised that On the Spot Hardware, I believe, they're open today, and they do have tanks available, and they do, as far as I understand, have a payment plan. So if you don't have all of the money all at once, you can get a payment plan and get that storage that you need. And it's important for us to ensure that we get adequate storage. You know, as Noasa would have said, they're in the business of selling water. If there's no water to sell, there's no water for you to buy, right? So you have to ensure that you store as much water as is possible. Every year we go through the same thing, and in recent years it's been worse because of climate change. So you want to ensure that you take care of your business, take care of your business. You can also, you don't have to buy one of those water storage tanks. You can also engage in a lot of your home right now. See if you can buy some blocks. Make it a project, a family project. Get some guidance from a local contractor, a local mason, and see how it is you can build your own water storage system. It does not have to be big to hold 1,000 gallons of water, but at least you would have worked on it. So you know for sure that you have water storage facilities. Be creative, be innovative. Now is the time for innovation. We have a little bit of time on our hands now that we are home. Let's use it to advance ourselves. Let's not just sit there and wait for this to be over and then we are in the same position that we went in. You have little repairs in your home to do those. The hardware stores are open. Do those repairs. Get your mind active. The more active your mind is, the less you'll be consumed by all of the propaganda that is floating around, all of the misinformation that is floating around, all of the stresses of the coronavirus will be lessened if we only engage ourselves in things that will help build us, help edify us, help grow us as individuals, and not just sit and wait for the next juicy story to hit the papers or juicy story to hit social media. All right, so we definitely need to do things to keep ourselves occupied. Of course, this morning, on behalf of the New National Party and of course on behalf of our Hard Talk family, we would like to say thank you, a heartfelt thank you and kudos to our frontline workers. And our frontline workers come in many different shapes and forms. It's not just the nurses and the doctors and the policemen who have been working very hard to ensure that we remain safe and to ensure that there is some order and peace in the country during this difficult time. But they come in the form of our sanitation workers. They come in the form of our grocery store workers who also have been working very hard, who have at this point have been working 5 days, 6 days a week, to ensure that we have the necessary items and the necessities to take us through this trying time. So we definitely do want to say thank you to the security guards who are manning the stations every night to ensure that businesses are kept safe while they are closed. To you, we say thank you as well. We have to give credit where credit is due. These people have been working hard. I know a lot of them, they want to be home with their families as well. They want to take time out to ensure that their business is taken care of, but they have to be out there, doing what they have to do to ensure that Grenada is safe. For the media workers as well, thank you. Of course, you are there ensuring that the general public is informed. For the people working in the Ministry of Finance to ensure that families who are disadvantaged as a result of this pandemic, as a result of this issue, that they are also taken care of. So there are a lot of frontline people that are dealing with this issue in different ways, helping us to stay sane, helping things to run and give us a sense of normalcy in this trying time. So we want to say kudos to them. And this afternoon, of course, at 7 o'clock, the Ministry of Tourism, I believe, is making a clarion call to all Grenadians that at 7 o'clock this evening we salute our frontline workers. All right, you make some sort of noise, whether you have a musical instrument, whether you can and a pot and a pan, claps, shouts, whistles, whatever it may be, to show that we appreciate them in this trying time, because we know they want to be home with their families, and our situation may not be as bad as the situation in those bigger countries, but of course they are still making the sacrifice, and just by making the sacrifice, that's a big deal, so we want to encourage them, we want to support them, and we want to salute them. So that is going to happen at 7 o'clock this afternoon. So to all of you out there in the different villages, I know at least every village in Grenada has an essential worker. So let's show them appreciation. Now, today we are expected to have a call from our Minister of Education. I know she's been very vocal in the past few weeks, because this situation has really impacted our education system. It's really impacted our children. So, of course, we want to ensure that as much information is given, as much misconceptions are cleared up, of course, and the quality of information that is given to us is factual. And of course, we want to make sure that it comes from the correct source. Something I heard this morning when the policemen was speaking, when they had their press conference this morning, and it's something that we would have said here, and that I have told to a lot of individuals, private individuals. We complain a lot about things happening. We complain about things not happening. But one thing that we do not do is we do not direct those complaints through the correct channel. So, for example, a question was asked this morning about what was being done as it relates to police and the misuse of force, right? And them abusing the powers that are granted to them. And I believe that the correct answer, the most suitable answer, the only answer really, was given. And that is that nobody has called the line to report it. If you don't report it through the correct channels, you cannot just hope that when you put something on social media that it gets picked up and dealt with. No, it must be directed through the correct channels, because there are always two sides of the story, A matter of fact, there are three sides of a story, as Mr. Bowler would always say. So we have to ensure that we direct our complaints, direct our concerns through the correct channels so that they are dealt with appropriately. And when you have done that, when you have directed your complaints through the correct channel and they have not been dealt with, then you have footing, then you have grounds to say that my issues or my concerns are not being dealt with. But social media is not the correct channel. I know that we have developed a culture now where everything must go on social media, where every complaint, complaint that we have, we post it on social media and tag the authorities and say that we've lodged a complaint. No, you haven't lodged a complaint. What you've done is you've placed on social media an issue and opened it up for people to give their opinions, but you haven't lodged a complaint, So we must use the correct channels to ensure that we get results for our issues. All right. Yesterday we spoke at the length about the M-Star program and about the education system as it stands. And I'm really hoping that today the minister can shed some light, because there has been a lot of talk going on about what needs to be done and what has to be done and why the M-Star program has to be used, and if the ministry is using that to monitor teachers and all sorts of nonsense. And I believe that it's something that needs to be addressed, something that needs to be clarified, And I listened to something, and today I'm talking about it today because today is a day for me to speak about it. And this is my opinion. and I must say this first so people don't pick up and run with it and say, oh, well, they say. In my opinion, I believe that it was an error in judgment on the path of the Grenada Union of Teachers, the leadership, in making a public statement yesterday on a program. And I'm giving, this is my opinion, in my opinion. It has to be an error in judgment because, and I'll say this, the situation with the education system is not what we are accustomed to. It's different. It calls for flexibility, yes. It calls for patience, yes. It calls for creativity. Now, the question was asked, would the Grenada Union of Teachers consider if they would take a pay cut if it is asked of them? And he made a statement indicating that it is not something that is even up for discussion, meaning that it's not something that they are going to even consider. And it has to be an error in judgment or an error in statement in responding in that way. And I'll tell you why. In this time, where, yes, teachers are inconvenienced, I agree. But parents, in most cases, and I said in most cases, not all, are doing the bulk of the work. While teachers are preparing and sending out work, it is the parents that's doing the bulk of the work. I mean, let's be honest. And while the parents won't complain, at the same time, everything must be given consideration in this time. Now, let's take, for example, in the event that this issue, this pandemic, runs a course longer than is expected. Our economy is in shambles. I put this to the union to consider. I put this to the union to think about. Because you are saying you have the interest of your workers at heart. There are one of two things that can happen in an economic crisis. You can either agree to have your pay cut, or you can consider retrenchment of workers. And that is just food for thought. Let's look at this thing realistically. And this is not just Grenada, this is around the world. We are looking at a situation where the economy coming out of this may be in shambles. Let's be honest. We must think now of the possibilities that will come out of that. So even if you believe that it is not something that the teachers may agree to, I do not think it is fair to make a statement like that publicly. Because what it shows is that you are not willing to compromise. You are not willing to negotiate. You have not even considered for a moment the effect that this will have on each and every single Grenadian. The persons in our society that will have long-term effects even after most of us have gone back out to work. In the tourism sector, which would take quite a while to revive, that the government must now see to taking care of these people. See, these are the things that we need to think about. Money is important. Can't trivialize the importance of money. But what we must do is also be considerate to the fact that these are not normal times. And the way that you went into this situation is definitely not the way that you're going to come out of it. So you must decide what it is you are willing to negotiate. Now is the time to start thinking about that, Now is not the time to go on public programs and start beating your chest. Oh, I am the leader of this group and we are not even considering this. This is not up for discussion. No, that is not the time. Now is the time to show empathy towards the situation. Now is the time to say, we understand what is happening. Now is the time to sit down with your membership and start brainstorming on what ways you think you are able to help. Because there will come a time when there will be a call for each and every one of us to make a sacrifice. It may not be the same sacrifice that we made in 2013, but we will be called at some point to make a sacrifice to help get our economy back on foot for the betterment of every Grenadian. Will you be willing to make that sacrifice? Have you started conditioning your mind towards the fact that that is going to be a real possibility? And what are you doing for yourself and in the future? And your future and the future of your children. What are you doing? What plans are you putting in place? We sit down and we complain a lot about what is happening and what is going on and what is not being done. And that time can be better spent putting plans in place to deal with the fallout of COVID-19. So sometime next week, we're going to have a representative from the Grenada Development Bank who will be calling in to give us information as it relates to the small business department of the Grenada Development Bank. They have now increased their lending amount to $40,000 for small businesses to help them during this time. And also, I believe that the unsecured amount is now $10,000 that you can borrow to help resuscitate your business, to help take care of your family during this time. How many of you have reached out to the Grenada Development Bank to find out what exactly you can do to help resuscitate your business? Or are we all just sitting there waiting to see if we are a part of the stimulus plan or a part of the stimulus package and waiting to complain if we are not? No, we have to be proactive. We have to ensure that we are putting plans in place to help our situation. We can't just sit all of the time and just wait to see if government can help me. I want to see if government can help me. And if they ain't help me, I'm going on social media and I'm making a pile of noise. Government is not going to be able to help everybody. And I think this is the concept that we need to grasp. And that is the foundation that we need to build on. Government is not going to be able to help everybody. If you get helped, great. But in the meantime, move with the mindset that, okay, I may not get assistance from the government, so let me make moves to help myself. Things have been put in place for small businesses to help them resuscitate their business, to pump funds into their business, to help them during this time. How many of you are taking advantage of that, or are you waiting to see if your name comes up in the stimulus package? How many of us are doing that? So we're going to take a few calls this morning before the minister comes on. And the number to call is 440-7377 if you are calling locally. If you are in the diaspora and you'd like to give us a call to contribute to the conversation, the number to call is 347-329-3101. What plans are you putting in place for you and your family to come out of this better than you went in? To ensure that even after this is done, even after the curfew is lifted, because a lot of people want the curfew to lift, okay, lift the curfew, give us a lot of easements, open back up the country, the borders can stay closed, but open the country. And then what? That's an important question. And then what? after that is done, what next? There are a lot of people who are going to be displaced, a lot of jobs that have been compromised as a result of that. Then what? What next? These are the things that you need to start thinking about. And if you are unable to come up with solutions, I'm quite sure that there are people out there that you can speak to, who can advise you on what you can do, who can help you through this situation by providing sound advice on what can be done. And these are the things that we must consider during this time. So let's not just sit there and wait and say, let's see what government is going to do to help us. Let's not do that. Something that I need to bring to your attention, even during this time, there have been some very mischievous people going around doing all sorts of things that they have no right to be doing. So the Office of the parliamentary representative of Carriacou and Petite Martinique had to release a statement today indicating that their office manager, and let me just pull that information up here so I can read to you the direct statement made by that office. And this is a public notice from the Office of the Parliamentary Representative, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. It has come to our attention that unauthorized individuals have attempted to impersonate Mrs. Trevelyn Andrew, the office manager of the Parliamentary Office of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, using a private number offering emergency food assistance as a result of COVID-19 lockdown. Please note that the Parliamentary Constituency Office will not call you from a private number to arrange a food delivery, nor will we pre-arrange any food delivery to you. Food deliveries are made based on your request and will be delivered as it becomes available. Please disregard any phone call from private numbers to pre-arrange food deliveries. I mean, this is very distasteful. In a time like this, you have people with nothing else to, or nothing better to do than to create propaganda, create drama. Read a book. Go outside and plant something. If your fingers and your mind and your tongue is itching to create some sort of drama, to spread lies and propaganda, go and read a book. Help yourself. Educate yourself. Build yourself. And stop making unnecessary moves of propaganda. Now you have people in Carriacou waiting on food baskets that may never come. I mean, this is very, very distasteful. We have our first call on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my sweetie pie.
Good morning, Miss
How are
Jacob.
you, baby?
How are you?
I'm all right, my dear baby Duncan, sister Duncan, lovely Duncan, and Duncan, you could take about it.
But I see that you're in a good mood today, Miss Jacob.
You know, if I come and I don't make you laugh,
Mm-hmm.
come.
Yes, I appreciate all of the laughs.
Yes, my dear. Oh gosh, thanks for the government and my minister. He sent the senior citizen money for us today. I get mine already, and they deliver in the other 4 of us in the pool, 4 senior citizens in the pool. Wonderful and nice. And but you have an officer behind. We have an officer with them. Oh, God. If to say those girls in the other run away with him, trust me. So, I had us to spare him because he taking care of my wonderful girls for me. So, I had us to spare him for that. So, Sister Duncan, what's going on there, baby?
Everything is fine, Miss Jacob.
And what about those children? Those children all right? Eh?
Yes, they are.
Right. Well, I give you a happy, have a wonderful and a blessed weekend. Don't let nobody dump me spirit. As a lot of them dump me spirit this morning, I put down the phone a lot of them.
Okay.
But
Ms. Jacob,
stuck behind the scene.
Ms. Jacob, I don't want to rush you, but the minister is trying to call in, eh?
Right.
So
you have a nice day, sweetheart.
You
God
too.
bless you. Love you, darling.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye. All right. So we are expecting now a call from the Minister of Education. It's not going to be a very long call because she has been very vocal. She's spoken a lot about a lot of the things that their ministry has been doing, but there are a few misconceptions that we want to clear up. So, of course, we do give her opportunity to speak to that and, of course, to encourage, and I will encourage, and others should encourage teachers to start using the program because that is the only way that the Ministry of Education is going to be able to gauge if the system actually works, how the system works, what kinks need to be worked out, how they can improve the system, what can be removed from the system. That's the only way they're going to know. So we have to try to use it as much as is possible. All right. Of course, there are some schools that have been utilizing it and have given good reports, and like every system, you do expect to have technical difficulties. There's no perfect system. Even the University of the West Indies uses that system, and they have used that system for God knows how long, and it still has problems. We still have to do technical reports. We do expect that. So it's not going to be perfect. Let's not look at the negative side of everything and try to pump positivity into things. Give life to things. We have the power to give life to things, so let's do that, We waste too much time complaining. So the minister is going to call. She is going to make statements. I did hear yesterday somebody called and said that the university, was it? No, it was not somebody that called. It was the union president that made mention of the University of the West Indies giving significant time or extensions for pupils to complete work. And let me clarify that. As a student of the University of the West Indies, that is an incorrect statement. It wasn't no significant time. We got a week extension in some cases. Some courses gave us a week extension. Some courses gave us a day. Some courses gave us 2 days. So it was not any significant. It's not like they said, okay, well, we'll give you a month extension. And we still have exams. Exams are starting on Monday. We still have to do our exams. So even though the situation is different, even though the situation is difficult, they still run as usual. So why are we looking for ways in which we can, say, blame the system for our own shortcomings? It's not fair, So do I agree that teachers have to be flexible in the time in which they request students to give in assignments? Yes, but at the same time, you do not want them to believe that they must take advantage of the situation and say, well, miss, I didn't get this done because what? You are home, you have nothing else to do but your schoolwork. There's really no excuse. I don't see an excuse, and maybe I'm a little harsh, but let us be honest. The more that we engage our students in work, the more we engage their minds in things other than COVID, in things other than what's happening around them, then guess what? We are actually doing them a favor. We're actually doing them a favor. So let us not use this situation to make excuses for our own shortcomings. Right? So we want teachers to start using the MSTAR program. You don't have to give up your program. You don't have to say, okay, well, we're going to put this aside and we're going to put our normal Zoom aside and our normal Skype aside and all of that just to use MSTAR. That's not what they're asking. Integrate it into your learning schedule. Post the assignments instead of sending it via email and instead of sending it via WhatsApp or on a PDF document and so on. Post it. Create the students' profiles. Post it to the profiles. Let them get accustomed to going in there and finding their work. You can still use Zoom. You can still use whatever it is, whatever means it is you have of communicating with the students, but let them get accustomed to using the platform, and you yourself must become accustomed to using the platform. There's no excuse and I'm hearing justifications of the ministries trying to monitor them through the program and all of that nonsense. I mean, those are not fair statements to make. Let us be fair. Let us be honest. You know? It's really not fair for us to do that. So we're going to take a very short break because I do have some PSA messages from our ministers of government that we might be able to play. But we are going to take a short break and then we'll be back with more information for you.
Of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique is asking all residents who have respiratory symptoms, including cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, or fever, to get tested for COVID-19. Protect your family and yourself. Make the call 538-4787 or 458-4787. Get tested. Save your life. Save my life. This has been a message from the Ministry of Health. Every person in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique is required under the Emergency Powers COVID-19 Number 4 Regulations, Section 2.4a(b), to wear a mask or suitable covering over their nose and mouth whenever they leave their home, attempt to enter, or is in line to enter a place of business, government offices, and while in a motor vehicle with any other person. Be COVID-19 smart. Obey the law. Cover up. Wear your mask. The government of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique is asking all residents who have respiratory symptoms, including cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, or fever, to get tested for COVID-19. Protect your family and yourself. Make the call 538-4787 or 458-4787. Get tested. Save your life. Save my life. This has been a message from the Ministry of Health.
COVID-19 spreads from person to person through the droplets that are produced when someone coughs or sneezes, which makes it easy to spread between people in close contact. Now let's get prepared to stay healthy.
To reduce your chance of catching or spreading COVID-19, practice these simple everyday preventative measures. Droplets can also land on surfaces, so ensure that you wash your hands frequently for a minimum of 20 seconds or sing the happy birthday song twice. Avoid touching your face, especially your eyes, nose, and mouth. If soap and water are not readily available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with an alcohol content between 60 and 90%. 70% is ideal.
When you cough or sneeze, cover your nose and mouth with a flexed elbow or a tissue. Dispose of the tissue immediately and then wash your hands. If you notice someone has a fever and cough or other symptoms of respiratory illness, avoid close contact when possible. Let's all do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. Our health is our collective responsibility.
All right, and on the line with us right now, we have our Minister of Education. Good morning, Minister.
Hi, good morning, Duncan. How are you? And I want to greet especially your listeners and your viewers this morning.
All right, good morning. I know that you're pressed for time, of course, because you have a lot to deal with. But I just thought it was absolutely necessary for us to speak today because there are a lot of misconceptions floating around as it relates to the M-Star program and its use and its purpose. One of the things that I want for us to address very quickly would be a statement that was made yesterday by a caller indicating that the Ministry of Education is promoting the use of the M-Star program for to be able to monitor teachers, and this is not a time that teachers should be monitored. Do you want to lend your voice to that allegation?
Okay. So first of all, let me start by saying this. One, that, and I'm going to go back to answer that question eventually, which has absolutely no truth to it, and I would get to that, but I want to deal with something that's even more critical at this time. That being, when the government of Grenada took the decision to construct this platform, at the back of our minds, the children of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique was there registered, and the need for providing all the necessary tools to enhance teaching and learning and the national outcome of an educated population that is ready for the 21st century and beyond. A population of people, young people particularly, people coming out from our school system, who are able to function and function well in our society and outside of our Grenadian society. So we want to give the best to our students. So that is why everything that we can do to build upon what we have, this government has been very proactive in that regard. As a matter of fact, if we are not talking about technology in education, if we are not talking about transforming our education system, then I would say something would be wrong with us at this stage of development. We're not yet ready, and we don't plan to be ready. But I'm saying to you that all of what has been happening is all part of government's agenda to ensure that we are doing everything possible to ensure that we give our students and our teachers the best options for teaching and learning in this present construct of time that we are in this modern time. So technology features at the center of education at this time. As a matter of fact, I could guarantee you that throughout the world, as a result of COVID-19, technology in education is going to be far more central than it was before COVID-19. So that is the premise, that is the backdrop. Now, the government some time ago announced that it was going to give every child a tablet. And we took that decision officially that we are going to do this, but we decided that prior to doing this, on advice, that we were going to focus on ensuring that we get that so right that we would not have a decision at the end that turns out to be not in the interest of teachers and students. So the government of Grenada decided that in giving every child a tablet, that is going to be hinged on the fact that there are 4 major pillars that are critical to a proper construct as it relates to technology integrated into education. So what are those pillars? And specifically, you have, maybe if you want to call it number 1, I like to call it number 4, which is the device itself.
Right.
Now, that device, which is the tablet, is critical to that outcome that we want to achieve. Because if you don't have the device to access anything, then it becomes impossible. But think about having the tablet first. So I normally like to put the tablet last as number 4. Think about having the tablet first and not being able to connect to the internet. So connectivity becomes, in my view, a pillar that is before the laptop or the tablet. So that is why almost every school, and you try it yourself, drive past a school, and I guarantee you that somewhere in the road, as you pass along, if you search for optional networks or networks available, you're going to see a network that is related to the school. That is how strong the connection is, right? So the connectivity is one. So we spoke about device, we spoke about connectivity. The content is another. Now, you can have the tablet, and if the teachers did not put content on it, or the ministry did not put content on it, then it really doesn't make a lot of sense, because you're probably going to use it for purposes that's not to your benefit, right? And then the other one is that of training. Now, if you have the device and you're not trained to use the program or whatever is available to access the content, and the content might be there, but you won't be able to access it.
Right.
So we decided, and I'm sure you conclude from what I just said, that connectivity, training, and the issue of that person being able to access is far more critical than the device itself, which I put as number 4 in the process.
Right.
Now, the second thing...
Hello? Oh, no. Minister, it seems like we're losing connection. Hello?
Yes, I am hearing you.
Okay, I'm hearing you better now.
Are you hearing me well?
Yes, much better now.
Right. So as I said before, all 4 pillars, we started work on those areas. Now, COVID-19, the coronavirus came, and the government had to make a decision. Now, I want to bring us back to post-Ivan, where absolutely no communication between teachers and students was possible.
Right.
And that is because we were not ready as it relates to technology and education, and to be able to provide options and provide facilities so that learning could have continued. So if a hurricane comes next week, God forbid, we would be in a better place than we were when Hurricane Ivan was here, because we have done some work as it relates to technology and learning, e-learning, to facilitate students being able to work on their own and teachers being able to facilitate them through different means. So what is it that the platform actually does for students? Now, because of COVID-19, we decided that we were going to go ahead and launch that platform. So we have not completed training. We started. We have not completed connectivity. We still have 1 or 2 schools, mainly private schools. And in terms of the devices, we did not have the devices on island. So if COVID-19 did not present itself, we were not going to launch the platform as yet.
Right.
So we decided to launch because we felt we had sufficient content on the platform that will help children, and enough features on the platform that would help teachers. And that is why we went ahead with MSTAR. Now to your question directly. There is absolutely no feature on MSTAR at this point to monitor teachers. But if you ask me, we need a form or a means in which we can monitor the activities of teachers so that principals can have reports submitted automatically as it relates to teachers' performance. What do I mean by that? Now, currently, everything that we do, so the issue of monitoring of teachers is something that existed before you and I were born, you know. Teachers have to prepare work plan. Teachers have to present lesson plan.
Yep.
The principal has to sign off on them. Education officers can show up at the school and request them to see what they did, what they're doing, what they plan to do. That has been there before you and I were born. What we are saying is that we must get to the stage where the principal does not have all this work to take everybody's book individually and write seen or write satisfied, write unsatisfied, whatever, that we should not in 2020 be having to do that. We should not have in 2020 for a teacher to sit down for 2 hours to be drawing up lines and making columns and rows to write up a lesson plan or to write up a report. We should not have to be doing that. So I'm saying, yes, we must monitor and yes, we must evaluate, but let us use technology. Where we are right now, we have not gone to that features yet, because right now the focus is how can children access information, how can teachers communicate and support students. That's our primary focus. A teacher who does not want to be monitored is like an executive or any other person employed anywhere that says, boss, I know my role, don't watch me, don't ask me any question, don't help me, don't guide me. I mean, this is, I don't understand. Monitoring and evaluation is a key component and an element of leadership and management. Yeah. So it is the role of the principal, it is the role of education officers to monitor and evaluate. That's why you do performance appraisal.
Right.
Now, how would a principal appraise a teacher if she does not know what the teacher has been doing, how they have been doing it, and most importantly, if they did not get a chance to guide and support them during the year of the performance appraisal? So I would close on that question by saying, let us remove every other thing in our mind to objectively look at MSTAR, a tool that the government has invested in to help both teachers and students. And I have children as well. I have personally interacted with the platform, not in my capacity just as Minister for Education, but as a parent, as somebody who advises other people on things related to options that they can use with their children and so on. I've been doing that for many, many years. And I am 100% satisfied that this tool is an asset to both teachers and students at this time.
All right, Minister. Thank you so much for clearing the air on that, because there have been a lot of statements floating around in the air as it relates to that. Now, also, I want to just jog your memory back to the press conference that was held on Sunday, I believe, where you indicated, because there are a lot of teachers out there saying that, well, we are already using platforms to conduct our educational business or whatever it may be.
Right.
Why do we need to switch? And then you would have made mention of, we are not asking you to give up what you're doing and just go ahead and use the MSTAR program, but more encourage you to utilize it so we have an idea of how well it works.
Excellent. And that's a critical point. We have said this to principals. We have said this in an official document to all principals on island, that the Ministry of Education at this stage is not saying to any teacher that you must use MSTAR right now. We are saying that if you have a platform that you are currently using, and if you ask my personal opinion as it relates to ranking sites that schools generally use, I would say maybe the top one and the most popular one used prior to the introduction of MSTAR would have been one called Edmodo. Now, we are saying to teachers and to schools, we are not telling you to just drop Edmodo overnight. We are not telling you that you should not use Edmodo anymore. We are saying that when we look at what Edmodo can do, when we look at what Edmodo comes with, and when we look at what MSTAR can do, and what MSTAR comes with, we are saying that a teacher and a student would be at a greater advantage if they use the MSTAR platform. And I'm going to share with you in a while what is it that you can do on the MSTAR platform. But I'll just use the example that I like to use. So Edmodo comes generally without material or content. The teacher uploads generally the content on Edmodo. And thank God for Edmodo, that many schools in the past have been using it successfully, no problem. All we are saying, for example, if you start using Edmodo today, you will never be able to find 10 years of past papers for CXC that a student can practice on. You would never be able to find actual specimen papers and practice tests that you actually do the multiple choice and get the answers within a few seconds. You would never get that on Edmodo. You would never be able to go on Edmodo and find the CXC Learning Hub. You would never be able to go on Edmodo and find the features for conference calling where you have your whole class that you can speak to them at the same time. So we are saying we're not here to condemn any other platform, but we're saying that we looked at the other platforms available to be able to establish what we do with the MSTAR platform. So I hope that is a little clearer.
Yes, it definitely is. And I must add that as a student of the University of the West Indies and then as a parent, I've seen the platform. I've interacted with the platform. And it very much replicates the platform that is used by the University of the West Indies, in the sense that a lot of the things that you can do in terms of posting assignments, in terms of having the same meetings that you have on Skype and Zoom and so on, can be had on that sort of platform as well. Posting of grades, so students have and parents have an idea as to the breakdown of each grade, each exam that they would have done, what they need to do in order to beef up their grades and so on. So I personally, I think it's a great program.
You know what is my guiding principle on this? My guiding principle is that if it's not good enough for my own children, it's not good enough for any child in Grenada. And it is because I tested it myself. I saw what it was capable of doing. I am satisfied that it is good for my children. And that is the only reason that I would encourage every other child to access it. So even within the platform, there are features there, even for students with special needs. So there are features that a child with special needs can actually benefit from. When you speak about activities, links to storybooks, hundreds and hundreds of storybooks, and not just storybooks that you could read, but storybooks where someone is reading to you. So a parent who is busy cooking can actually put on a storybook, have somebody read to the child while they cook, for example. And I spoke about CXC. So much materials there for students who are preparing for CXC that they can actually access. But what is beautiful about this as well, the main objective as it relates to content is that teachers can upload things that they want their children to have. So you upload it and you tell the child what was uploaded, go get this assignment or go do this, and the child can access. The child can respond, the child can take a test, what have you. So many options for teachers to interact. But I also said, unlike the other platforms, you have to go and probably use Zoom, and which sometimes come with a cost, and other things that you can actually engage the students on. We're saying right on the platform, you do have features as well that you can have a classroom activity with students, right? Students and students can student-to-student communication, student-to-teacher communication. You have the messaging, just like how we text on our regular phones. You can do that. Most parents sometimes say they don't know if the teacher completed the syllabus for a subject, or they don't know how to help the child because they don't have a copy of the syllabus. The schools or the ministry don't give the syllabus to parents. But right on MSTAR, you can get the syllabus for every subject. So you could follow to see what your child know or doesn't know before an external exam. So all of those features, to me. But another feature that I like is the analytics, which actually analyzes all that the child has done. So to tell you the child has completed 2% or 20% or 100% of what they should do in that particular area. How are they doing? You don't have to scroll through every page on the platform to know how the child is doing. You're able at one glance to see how the child is doing. What have they been doing? As a matter of fact, you go for the day and you come back, that child cannot trick you to say that I did a lot of work, mommy. No, you'll be able to see they completed 8 out of 10 questions, or they did 100 new questions, or they moved from 2% in English, completed correctly, and they're now at 20%. So good job, you did a lot for the day. So I am saying, and I continue to say this, sometimes we just need to be objective. That's all we need to be objective and to assess the platform for what it's worth, what it can do. Let us put aside how you feel about the Minister for Education, how you feel about the Prime Minister, how you feel about the government, how you feel about anybody. Let's just put that aside and let us objectively look at the platform for what it can do for both students and teachers. And might I add here, what it can do also for parents.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I definitely can attest to that. It is capable of doing all of these things. I made mention yesterday in speaking about the MSTAR program that even if teachers do not believe that they whatever it is they're doing now is working better than the program, they can incorporate it into what they're doing, so they can still have their Zoom teaching and so on, and post the assignments as opposed to emailing it or WhatsApping it to the students. Post it on the actual website, or create the questions on the website as a mini test, so they themselves do not even have to go and correct, or parents don't have to correct. The system itself is able to correct and say, okay, that student did 8 questions and got 4 right and got 6 right, and it actually shows the student at the end of the exam what they would have done wrong, and give them the answers and an explanation as to why this is incorrect. So that's
another important feature, and you're totally absolutely right. It's obvious that you've been interacting yourself. Now, I spoke to someone who was saying to me that they had some concerns about the platform. And I was going through trying to explain to them that I understand what you're saying, but let me just ask you, did you log on to the platform? And her response was no. What she was sharing with me was what somebody shared with her. And I keep saying to her, could you log on yourself? And after she logged on, she called me back. And she literally had to say to me that she realized that what she was told was not necessarily what it was. So I encourage persons to actually log on, actually try it, and then assess for yourself. And then we have the persons who say, well, I cannot log in. I tried 3 times or I tried 4 times. And I just want to clear that by saying it is very possible. Just like if you try to do online banking and you tried 3-4 times and you did not get through, it is the same thing. And the question now becomes, why didn't you get through? So, for example, I'll give you maybe about 3 reasons why a person can say, I tried many times and I didn't get through. 1, the schools sent us the names of the students and teachers who have to get passwords. What we found is in a number of cases, names were spelled incorrectly, and minor incorrect spelling, maybe errors that could have even been in the process between the school and the Ministry of Education and the company doing the credential. So your name may end with an E, and just so typographically in typing up your name, the E was left out. So your password came back with a username without an E. And so you will never get in if you are putting in the E, because the system has your name as someone without an E. So for that password, the system is thinking that somebody else is trying to use your name and your password. So there's no way you would get in until you go to the helpline, which is in as part of our material distributed, and you say to them, I am not getting in, could you reset my password? And then they check, what is your name? They realize, okay, the problem is there's an E at your name, but your password currently, the username attached to your password doesn't have an E. We fixed that for you now, try again. Yes, so I got through, right? That's one way. Every username comes with a dot between the first name and the last name. You will not get through if you don't put that dot, because the system only recognizes usernames with a dot in between. But while we're talking about nameless use, another reason why some people are saying they don't get through. Now, you cannot just pick up your name, make up a password, and get through. The system doesn't work like that. Your school must request a username and password for every teacher and student. So if your name was not on the list that the school sent, and you try to put in your own username and your own password, then you also would not get through. So these are some of the simple reasons, and we're putting out a circular today that explains that, because some people probably don't understand. You can be trying a million times and not getting through as well because of your password. So you enter in the password that was given to you, but you're not spelling it correctly. Like with every other thing we do when we use a password, if it's not entered properly, you would never get through. But then you have some persons who got in, and the system asks you to change and put in your own password. And then they said they've been trying, they can't remember the password, and then the system locks you out. It is the same thing that happens with every other platform, whether it's your banking online, You try to enter your password or you go to the ATM, the same thing happens. That's technology. You try your password 3-4 times and then the system starts thinking, well, somebody is trying to hack into your thing or somebody is trying to use illegally your password. So it would block you out. So in that case, what you have to do is to call the helpline and say, look, I'm trying my password. I think I may have forgotten it. Could you reset and give me a new password? That is how it works, like most other things we do online. So people who are saying they cannot get through, Facebook will not help you to get through. What will help is calling, messaging, emailing the information that we've sent out, and we are going to send it out again. It's on Facebook. It's on a number of platforms. And we keep saying to people, that's what you have to do to be able to get through if you're having a problem. And I'm just going to share those numbers, and you have people who are sitting there, and their role is actually to help. 535-7126. 535-7126 or 535-8988. 535-7126 or 535-8988. In addition to those two WhatsApp numbers that persons can send a message to, persons will get back to you, and they've been getting back to persons generally within 24 hours, in some cases as low as 2 hours an hour. I have been monitoring and checking those persons to get feedback every day. An email address could also be used, and that is m*Grenada@gmail.com. So you don't want to send a WhatsApp, you want to send an email, you send an email. You don't want to send an email, you send a WhatsApp. And so I'm encouraging persons that they should use that. But I want to point to two other features of the platform, Duncan. Now, most external exams will soon be all electronic. As a matter of fact, this year, CXC is going electronic even for CPA exams, which means that children need to learn how to type. Now, you go on the other platforms that we've been speaking about, and you don't have typing program, learning how to type programs. On the MSTER platform, because we know that, and that is the beauty about a locally developed program. It caters for the actual needs that exist in the system. So because we know that, guess what? We even have a game on the platform that teaches students how to type. There's also a Learn to Type program that is specifically for that purpose. Even parents can benefit from some of those features on the platform. So even a parent who wants to learn how to use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office, whether it's Excel or what have you, there are courses on there that students can take. So a parent who is not computer literate, unemployed, is home, guess what? They can actually benefit from this feature as well. So all of those programs are there to support. You take a break, and sometimes we're worried about all of those games children play with guns and all sorts of things and the obscenities and all of that. We are saying that we put in educational games on the platform to encourage students to play appropriate games, particularly for their age. So on the platform, we've actually started putting up some games that are educational in nature. So you want to shoot? Then let us shoot at 1 + 1 =. You shoot and you get 2, you know. Yeah. So I'm just saying the objective is really to ensure that we give as much as we can both to teachers and students, and other personal development courses that teachers can take, students can take, even parents can take. You search on the site, you find some of them, and as we go along, we are going to be adding, curriculum officers are going to be adding, so an update in the syllabus. You're not going to find that on Edmodo. Mm-hmm. You're going to find that on MSTAR, because MSTAR caters for the current situation that we're in. Edmodo is an international program that probably caters for maybe other countries that are not as local as we are. And I just want to encourage persons objectively, go on with an open mind. Forget other things that you might be thinking about and think about how you can take advantage of this as a teacher or as a student.
Absolutely. Now, Minister, lastly, before you go, because I know you're busy today, I just want us to explain, if you can, quickly how the MSTAR program is zero rated in terms of the amount of data and internet usage it requires.
Right. So just before I respond to that, I want to just plug in there two other features that I think even parents would like. There's a personal calendar for the child. So if the child wants to enter, for example, an activity next week or next month that is happening, whether it's family-wise, whether it's school-wise, whether it's national-wise, that child learns how to organize himself by using a calendar on the platform. And then in addition to that, there is a to-do list that the child can create. So it's helping even the child to organize himself. So on that to-do list, I can put all the things I have to do, including washing the dishes, including scrubbing the steps. So I organize. I know at 2 o'clock, I need to scrub the steps. At 5 o'clock, I need to do my Spanish assignment. All of this we're doing for the students and teachers of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. So this is not a sin that somebody just committed. This is a platform that is designed, money is invested, because we are thinking of how we can help students and teachers in the process of teaching and learning. Zero rated. So before we made that arrangement, if you went on the site, you would have to have internet connection, you would have to have data. What we did is that we've been working with both Flow and Digicel in this COVID period, as one person said, this COVIDious times. We have been able to get them to agree to support the children and teachers of Grenada by zero rating the platform, which means once you go up to MSTAR and you do all these things that I just said you can do, you do not have to pay as in internet usage, or you don't have to have extra data on your phone. So your data won't be going down. So you won't say, Lord, I have to make some WhatsApp calls and this thing going to finish my data. No. Zero rated means that no data is being used. To connect, though, and I always like to make this exception, to connect, you must have some means of data, even if it's the basic minimum $3 package, or I don't know if they go down to $150 package. I don't put that. I use the pre-whatever service. Now, it means that even if you have $3 on your phone, and we do that for our husbands and our boyfriends, make sure we have data. We're going to do it for our children now. So you have a minimum $3. And what you do, you use your device now, or the child's device, and you use hotspot to connect. What is going to happen? You get connected, but the data would not be used. And that is for the MSTAR platform. Now, if you go off onto a link, maybe like IXL, for example, while we have asked the companies to zero rate all of those links, I will have to double check in the case of Lime whether they completed that process. But I know Digicel has already zero rated the connecting links that are to MSTAR. So even if you go off on another link, it's also zero rated. And all of that is through their kind sponsorship and support.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a testing time for the telecommunication companies to really step up to the plate and see if, I don't know if the Ministry of Education is already in talks with, or if it's a possibility that they can provide certain plans that are available just so parents are able to log in to the MSTAR program, whether you purchase a plan for whether it's $1 or whatever it may be, just so they have that access to get into the MSTAR program. So that is definitely something that is maybe up for consideration, or could be up for consideration to a lot of the people who don't have that access to the internet as maybe they should, right?
And the good thing is that even if you have as little as $2 credit, or a plan for $3, I'm not sure what's the minimum, you can be on for the whole day, 24 hours a day, the next day. it just means that this is really a special offer that we have received, and I want to express appreciation. Digicel has gone further. They have provided even a number of teachers, hundreds of teachers are now benefiting, have benefited and are benefiting from phones that were made available through Digicel, and free data that was also made available in the event that teachers wanted to go on other sites that are not related to the MSTAR platform. So we also did that through that arrangement with Digicel.
All right. Now, Minister, I just want to give you a few moments. I know you'd want to speak a little bit on your constituency, as most ministers have done during this week, on what you guys are doing in keeping in touch with your constituents.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to first, even before I say that, really commend the people of St. Andrews Southeast. I am so proud of them. And I am doing and saying this because I have observed how obedient they have been generally, how cooperative they have been as it relates to all of the regulations and the guidelines and all of the notices. As a matter of fact, we have also been going out into the communities with our loudspeakers, encouraging them, stay inside, observe all of the regulations. They have been so cooperative. As a matter of fact, some of them would stay in their windows and they would wave, meaning, I guess, yes, we understand, we're cooperating, we're going to do what we have to do. I really want to say to them how much I love and appreciate them for that. As a matter of fact, we went one step further. Apart from all the notices on COVID that we've been passing around, sharing with them information, wash your hands, do this, do that, wear your mask, be careful when you go out to do your shopping. We have been going around in the communities with our loudspeaker doing that. But in addition to that, I did record personally a special message that went around through the communities as well, encouraging them and, just saying to them, it's a time that is difficult for all of us, but we're going to get through this and we're going to be far more successful than we thought we would have been. And I am really appreciative, too, of the response that came from that. Persons called, just to have heard your voice, we were very happy. Mm-hmm. So we continue to engage. Unfortunately, the regular ways that we normally would engage, we normally do our weekly meetings in the villages and so on. We couldn't do that because of COVID-19, but we tried to find creative ways. In addition to that, we have been keeping in touch with our senior citizens. So my staff is not at the office, but they are working from home, and I want to especially recognize them and commend them. I love them, their commitment. During the day, they would call the senior citizens, call different persons, as many numbers as they have. They have been calling and reporting back the feedback that have been coming from the various villages. And so we have been helping some families, and I want to specify here, we are using a criteria. So the persons who are on the SEED program, government has decided that government is going to continue to pay transportation assistance that we normally provide to parents for their children to go to school. We're saying even if school has been home, we're not stopping that payment. We're giving you every month. And so we paid as a government through Ministry of Social Development. We paid at the end of March. We're paying now again. It's not even the end of April yet, but the payment has started. The ministry has been out in the communities making those payments. And we're saying that because of that, that priority group that we are trying to assist with those little hampers are those persons who are vulnerable but not on that program, where particularly first priority, because we won't be able realistically to do everybody. Realistically, what we are trying to do is target the homes where there are children, because we know the school feeding program used to cater for many of those students. So we have taken a decision to target those homes as first priority, right? So in addition to that, we've been able to provide certain services, especially those emergency services. Regular things we have put on hold, but those that are possible now. So we've been able to assist some medical cases and so on, things that cannot wait. Right. Post-COVID-19, our office is fully functional, even if the doors are closed.
Right.
So my appreciation to the staff at the constituency office. I'm extremely proud of you. Without you, this would be far more difficult than it is. So tons of praises to the staff at the constituency office. And also to my constituents, they have been so cooperative, and I want to thank them. I really, really want to thank them for the level of cooperation and love during this period. And we continue. We say to you, you have a problem, you need help, just call our regular number, 443-4903. There's somebody who answers the phone, and we are going to do whatever is possible at this time to continue to support the people of St. Andrews Southeast.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, Minister, and for clearing up all of those misconceptions and encouraging our teachers in this time. I know you have a very busy day ahead of you because not only are you Minister of Education, but you also sit on the committee. So your plate is overflowing. But of course, we hope that you keep safe, and we wish you the best.
Thank you so very much. And let me just close by expressing my gratitude to all of the principals. We have started principals meeting. We met with just under 100 principals yesterday. We're doing the same today. And on Monday, we meet with the principals of private schools. And I just want to use this opportunity to express sincerest gratitude to all principals, teachers, ancillary staff for all of the support that they have been providing to the ministry during this period. And, well, of course, the staff at the Ministry of Education, some of them have been working every single day at the office since this virus since we've been in the period of regulations. And so I just want to thank everybody. The support has been tremendous, and I'm convinced that we are going to get through this successfully if we continue to work together in the interest of our children and our nation. And I'm extremely pleased with the level of cooperation and support we have been receiving. And I just want to encourage all of us, let us just stay safe and stay protected, and all will be well.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right, so you heard it there from our Minister of Education in encouraging the use of the M-STAR program, and of course, refuting comments indicating that the program is built or meant to monitor teachers. So I'm hoping that teachers have taken the opportunity to listen and be guided accordingly. You know, like I said, just this morning, we were saying, if you're having difficulty with anything, if you have a complaint that you'd like to file, use the correct channels. Social media, yes, it gets messages across a broader spectrum, but it is not meant to solve problems. You know, use the correct channels to solve your problems. So if you are a teacher using the M-STAR program and you are having difficulty in logging in for whatever reason it may be, and the minister made mention of a few reasons as to why you may have difficulties, not because the program is faulty. I'm sure half of you, if you log out of Facebook now and you can't get in, you're sending a million emails to Facebook to figure out what is happening. The same as WhatsApp or any other social media platform that you use. If you log out, you're sending emails because you want to know what's happening. In the same breath, if you are having difficulty logging into the M-STAR program, then you would want to contact the help desk. There's a help desk there set up with people who are readily available to assist you by calling 535-7126 or 535-8988. You can send a WhatsApp or give them a call. Or if you prefer to send an email, it's mstargrenada@gmail.com. Let us move forward together. Let's help build Grenada together. You know, sometimes we spend so much time looking at the negativity in a situation, and we don't utilize the possibilities. You know, that we don't utilize the possibilities to help build something. This M-STAR program belongs to the Ministry of Education. It belongs to the teachers of Grenada. It belongs to the students, to the principals of Grenada. It is we own. So let us utilize it. Let us make it work. Let us build it into something that is ours. So parents don't have to use data and Wi-Fi for Zoom, and every 40 minutes you have to log out and log back in again. We don't have to do that. There is a program that has been built and is available for us to utilize, where parents don't have to wonder about, well, where are getting all this data to support this program. All you have to have is data to start and to keep the program running, but it doesn't take away from the amount of data. So you have a gigabyte of data today, you log into the program, you'll have a gigabyte of data tomorrow, if that is what you are using it for. So let us look at the benefits in the program, and let us use it for what it's meant to be used for, to help build the education system, to take us to that technological age, to help our students to get into the practice of using it. Because a lot of our students are going to move from here to TAMCC, or move from secondary school to TAMCC. TAMCC already utilizes the platform, or a platform similar to this. They're going to move from here to the University of the West Indies, or to St. George's University. They as well use online platforms. They themselves may need to take a course online. Get them accustomed to using these kind of platforms. It puts them at an advantage. It puts them in a better position. Let us look at the positivity in the situation and stop picking and nitpicking at every negative thing that we can find. Some of you are complaining about a system that you haven't even logged into. Look at that. Let us be mindful. Let us grow together. Let us build together. Use the program so you as teachers, because it is meant for you, it is meant for the students, it is meant for parents. And the only way that the Minister of Education and the Ministry of Education can make this program into what it needs to be, to facilitate all of the needs of the students and all of the needs of the teachers, is if you go in and you use it. So you are able to make recommendations to the Ministry of Education on how it can be improved and how it can better work to facilitate the learning needs of our students. Let us not forget that this is what all of this is about. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about how we feel about government. It's not about how we feel about the Minister of Education. It's not about how we feel about the Ministry of Education. It's not about how we feel about the system. It is about meeting the learning needs of the children of our country. That is what is important. Our feelings in the grand scheme of things are not as important as facilitating the learning needs of our children. Guys, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. In whatever you say and whatever you do, be safe, be secure. I always love talking with you and never about you. Please do enjoy the remainder of your day. And remember, today may be a shopping day, but curfew is still in effect. 24-hour curfew still in effect. Leave your house only if absolutely necessary. And remember, at 7 o'clock this afternoon, we will be saluting our frontline workers. Guys, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Please do enjoy the remainder of your day.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
That's the man. Wood. Yo, this is the Dan man Lindy telling you to be COVID-19 safe. Stay home. That way we could play a mass sooner rather than later. Everything will come to pass. You know the tingo. Mass must play. How you mean?
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.